Hello everyone, a little bit of context. This is an interview I did with Billy Moir back, and I got the name right, back in January. I thought it would be good, considering we hadn't been able to film recently. I thought it'd be good to showcase this interview on the We Weekly Free podcast page, because technically it was a podcast, and he's a very insightful person, and I think he's quite funny, so I thought I might show him on the We Weekly Free podcast page, why not? Hello Billy, welcome.
Hello George.
It means a lot having you here today. I suppose that college has been a really big thing and an impactful thing in your life recently, hasn't it?
Yeah, well I mean, yeah. Obviously, as you know, I only started, a year ago now to this month, so it's been a massive change in my life, and yeah,
absolutely
exciting.
New beginnings, eh? It's a year in, so I suppose it's like you feel a bit natural now, like it's not a new thing getting up and
yeah. I feel like I'm used to it now. It just feels like my home now. Definitely. Definitely used to it now. It's my normal routine.
That's brilliant. So, since your arrival, how welcome did the college make you feel, and what was it like coming through the doors on your first ever day? And I mean, we got a glimpse of it on the Lincoln College Media Instagram page, didn't we? I think you left temporarily, didn't you?
Well, if anyone's seen the video you're talking about, we made a great fully fictional, there was none of that really happened, or about my first day, because I only started in January, so by the time the year twos left last September, I'd only had them for half a year. So we made a fictionalized version of how my first day went, and being traumatized by the students and being them all, piling in like zombies. That's fictional. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
Quite the opposite. It was very lovely. Everyone was very welcoming. All of my colleagues were so supportive. They never once, just chucked me in the deep end and left me to it. I was always helped through everything. They were always there to answer any questions. If not, it was a lot of emailing for answering questions. But then just the students as well. I'm so, they were so warming to me straight away. None of them were, off put or anything because I was new. They were all very chatty. I mean, the first week, all I did really was just went around and chatted to all the students, got to know them a bit. I think that's the best way of doing it, really. That's one of the major parts of this job is we all know each other so well. Obviously we're all on first term basis because I'm not Mr. and Rachel isn't Mrs. something, we are Billy and Rachel and George and whatever. But we all know all of our students so closely, we know everything about them, and then that helps to then build that relationship with them, so then we can help you guys as much as we can. And I got that straight away on the first week, and I got to know everyone's name, learned what they were interested in, and we got chatting about things that they liked, their projects they were working on, because they were working on their productions just like we are now. So yeah, it was the first day, if you want to go back to the first day, it was a bit daunting. First time coming in.
How did you deal with it?
I just trusted in the people who I was working with. Obviously I was nervous because it was talking to a lot of people. I don't particularly like standing up and talking to a huge crowd of people. So we did kind of do that first to get it out of the way. This, an introduction, this is Billy, he'll be your new tutor, etc. But when it actually got to the one-on-one chats with the students, that's what I prefer. So I just trusted, that all of my colleagues would help me out, and they did. Any questions I had, they were really, really helpful. But other than that, a lot of it is just up to me. It's my common sense. It's however I feel I can, if I'm confident enough to go and just put myself out there and talk to students, talk to staff and stuff. So, and I think I did quite well. I'd say I'm proud of myself of how I did it. Yeah, I was scared, but I went through it anyway, and now couldn't be happier.
That's brilliant. Absolutely. That's a fantastic, way of introducing yourself, Billy.
Thanks.
I also wanted to say, because you talk about Lincoln College being welcoming, you talk about going with the students and feeling, the one-to-ones, that you got a lot out of it. Lincoln College. Why Lincoln College? Why was it Lincoln College as opposed to any other college coming in, swooping in, getting, oh, Billy, the hottest free transfer in college land?
Well, that wasn't the case. That's why. I had no teaching experience.
Oh.
I've never done anything like this before. I was working in engineering before this, but, just because I applied for it and I had experience in the media industry, obviously they thought I would fit the team well. I live in Lincoln, so obviously that was preferable. I don't need to travel far for family and stuff like that, because I'm from Lincoln anyway, always been from Lincoln. And I just I just liked the idea of supporting the future of Lincoln, maybe, I suppose you could see it as that way. I'm giving back to Lincoln. I'm all of the students. Well, I mean, obviously a lot of them aren't from Lincoln, but I feel like we're a good representation of what Lincoln is.
Yeah.
And I think we could give a good impression of what the city is. And I love Lincoln. I think it's, it's got everything you need, really. It's not too big, it's not too small, but there's still quite a bit of community in there. And really, I think that's what a lot of the colleges, we are a big community. We all know each other, we all get along. We all, between buildings, we all chat, and we all, like I say, it's almost like our own little village in the college itself, and we all know the students, and it's just a great environment, really, and that's what I want. Well, that's what Lincoln should be.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you. It is definitely a staple of the community, and the future generations will look up to, people that come in and have any advice to offer. Now, I wanted to ask, you talk about purpose, future generations. Motivates you to get up each morning, and what is the driving factor of getting up? What do you enjoy about your job? Is there any particular favourite aspect?
I don't know, really. I've always loved. I mean, I'm not a huge extroverted person. I don't go out there and know what to say. I can be quite shy. I can be a bit sometimes awkward. I think we all can, but I love just having friendships and connections with people. And I think especially you guys are at that perfect age. I don't think I would have wanted to teach primary.
No.
I feel like that's maybe, you can't really have that connection with them. You can't really have similarities. You can, of course you can, but I like, the age where I feel like we're almost equals, really, and me and the students,
there's none of this, stop doing that, stop doing this.
There is sometimes, but
yeah.
But you also get to build a great connection with them all, and I just love being able to chat to different varieties of people who like different things. Yeah. I like to think I have many interests, not just, I know I'm a media tutor, but I think the great thing about media as well is that it's so varied. You can like films, you can like sports, you can like magazines, you can like podcasts. And I'm someone who always tries to dabble in all of them anyway. So I love being able to go to a college and chat to one student really passionately about how well Man United did at the weekend, and then chat to another student really passionately about David Lynch's films, and chat to another student about this really underground magazine that I read at the weekend, and they tell me about things that they've found out as well. And I feel like it's, I've spent a lot of my life, especially since uni, is collecting information about things, and it's nice to pass it on.
Absolutely.
It's nice to finally be able to say, oh, you like this? Maybe you should watch this, or oh, you read this, and I feel really gratified when at the end of the year when students fill in their research reports and what they've looked up, and they've done something that I've advised them to. I feel maybe I didn't waste my life watching films for 10 years. Maybe it actually helped someone.
That brings me on to another question. Like, what is 5 things that we should know about you, or any new student that's coming, they should know about you? Because you mention a lot about films. Was there anything more to that in your past life?
Well, I mean, I obviously come from a mainly film background-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, I did media production at university, but when it came to the second and third year, I specialised in directing. So that's always been my passion mainly. I always knew I wanted to make films or be in something involved with films.
Yeah.
I've watched films religiously for, a very long time now. So I'd say, films, I'm a big film guy, but also music. And there was a time in my life when I thought maybe films is too difficult. You have to, they're so expensive to make. Maybe I should just make music. I have no musical talent whatsoever, so that was out the window straight away. But I love listening to music. I listen to a lot. I probably listen to more music than I watch films, just because there's more time to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the problem with films, isn't it? Sometimes it's too time-consuming when you watch a big movie.
Yeah, So I try on a
Yeah.
weekend to watch a film, but every day in the week I'll listen to an album or something probably. So
Yeah. Oh, wow.
films and music, a big part. I don't know what else they should know about me. I'm friendly, I suppose.
Yeah.
Is that something they should know about me?
Well,
I'm always
absolutely.
up for a chat.
Yeah.
To be fair, any interests that students show passion about, I'll actually go and seek out and find something about it. I enjoy doing that.
Yeah, you're quite adaptable like that,
Yeah,
aren't you?
yeah,
If someone
a good
talks
word
to you
for it.
about something that you have no clue about,
Yeah.
sometimes you'll come in and you'll be like, "Oh, how was the ball on Saturday?"
Yeah, but and I think
students appreciate that.
well, I would hope so. I just think as people, we all should be interested and open for everything.
Yeah.
So if a student comes up to me and really passionately tells me about some, comic book they've been reading for ages that I've never heard of, or some trading card game I've never heard of, I'm, and they show that they're passionate about it, I'll go and look it up and I'll go, okay, that's cool. Okay, I can see why they like that. And I might come in the next day and try and have a conversation with them again. It's not forced. I'm not saying I'm going to look this up so I can have something to talk to you about. I'm just genuinely interested in lots of things.
Yeah.
So that's where the films come in, music, TV, magazines, all stuff like that. I think that's why media is such a good place for me.
I think there's a few things that I want to discuss here, like
Oh, God.
what is the weirdest film? Anyone that doesn't know that reference, that's a James Jackson. He used to go, today we're going to watch a weird film. And Billy...
And George told me about the impression, so
I did, yeah.
now I'm very aware of... Listen, James, if you're listening, this is all on George, okay? I've only met you once. You seem like a great guy, but George obviously is very fond of the impression. So
Yeah. Go on, give us one impression.
Today we're going to watch a weird film. If that's what it sounds like, then. And that's great because I love weird films. So.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. What's the weirdest one that you've ever watched?
God. I don't know. You could say something like Eraserhead.
Yeah.
I know they showed that. I know James showed that to you before I started, and people were. It's a bit like well, I don't think it was even like Marmite because I don't think anyone loved it. I think it was very divisive.
It was. I think that was the film where he said, "Today we're going to watch a
Well,
movie."
yeah,
I was
well, that's where
like,
it comes from then. Yeah, that is a weird one,
Yeah.
but it's great.
Absolutely.
There's all sorts. One of my favourite films is a Japanese film called The Happiness of the Katakuris, and it's about a family who own a B&B in like the Japanese countryside, and they end up killing people who stay there for some reason or other. And it's a comedy.
Yeah.
But it's very strange. They break out into musical for some parts of it. One part is stop motion, and there's a little bat on wings who fights one of the other characters, but it's all in stop motion. It's a very strange film, but it's beautiful. I highly recommend it.
Absolutely, no spoilers. I mean, I've never watched this, so I'll look it up later. You know, we can't speak about the weirdest film without speaking about your favourite film.
Okay.
What has been your favourite film in Film Friday, and why was it so impactful to you?
Oh well, if it's Film Friday, that's difficult because I don't get to, as you know, I don't get to go down and visit, so that's a shame. I'm very aware of most of the ones that are shown. Yeah. I did get to pick one film at the very start of the year. My first Film Friday, we brought down all the classes, and I picked a film called Blade Runner.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, I could mention that. That's definitely up there.
Yeah.
It's an incredible film set in the future with about what does it mean to be a human being, or what's it mean to be an android? Who gets to decide who kills them or not? It's just a gorgeous film. So maybe that one. I would love to show my students, but I feel like you need to wait till you get older because it gets better with age, is a film called It's a Wonderful Life. It's an old 40s film, black and white, about a guy who, kind of goes through life helping people in many ways that he doesn't realise, but he basically just gets himself in so many situations that he ends up wanting to end his life, and then an angel comes down and shows him what his town would have been like if it wasn't for him, if he'd never existed. And then he starts to realise, okay, maybe he does have an impact, and it's just makes me cry every time. It's an absolutely beautiful film, and the older I get, I feel like that's more relatable. Especially when you have children, etc. It's just such a good, and it's a Christmas film, but it's barely set at Christmas. Most of the film is just throughout his life, so you can watch it any time of the year. But it's a lovely one to have at Christmas time.
Absolutely.
When you're with the family. It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Everyone watch it. It's a Wonderful Life when you're 30.
I'm 27.
Oh. So, we've talked about what you specialise in. That's film. We've talked about, your favourite movie. When you watch a movie, because a lot of people just watch the movie and go, "Oh, well, that's a movie." I just feel that they do that, don't they? Whereas, I suppose when you've worked in that aspect, it's a bit different. You kind of see it from a different perspective. What do you look at when you look at a film, and what makes you interested in films and the way that they're made?
It's a great question.
Yeah. Thank you.
I don't think that you need to have any experience in filmmaking to enjoy films, to get something out of them. They're just, at the end of the day, they're a piece of art, I believe anyway, that gets, tells a story that in some way we can hopefully relate to, and, whether it's a theme about, whether it's something that is in a different country, in a different time of the world, like I say, Blade Runner, I don't recognise the places, I don't recognise the people, but there's still a theme I recognise about, what it means to be human, etc., stuff like that. I feel like everyone, no matter what your experience is with films, should just give them the time and concentration, especially today's day and age. I'm very aware of, TikTok and everything, and people don't want to sit and watch, but I just, I think if you just give it a time, this is why we try to do our Film Fridays as well. If you give it time, give it your full concentration.
Yeah.
Look at the classics. Look at, go to them first. Or ones that I recommend, because obviously I know best. But look at the classics. Look at, the ones that top the list all the time. The Godfather, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and put your phone away. Sit, I would say turn the lights off, but I just fall asleep when I do that. So you don't have to turn the lights off. That's not gonna, it's not gonna make a major difference to your film watching. But just sit, watch it. You don't need to immediately review it. You don't need to immediately rate it. Have a discussion if you watch it with other people, because there will be times, and this is the great thing about cinemas as well. Going with people, you get reactions during it that you may not have thought about during it. You may not know that you were going to be scared. You may not know that this was a funny part. And then when you have the discussions with people afterwards, you go, "Oh yeah, I never realised that about it." You should always be learning. And you're always learning from it. And I just think, just like any art form, books, music, all of it. Performing arts, theatre, films. You need to just give them time. Don't rush into them. Don't go in with any expectations. That's a mistake a lot of students make. And I do too. I'm guilty of it all the time. I'll go into a film, someone's giving it 5 out of 5 stars. This is the greatest film ever made. And we live in a time where everything has to be over-exaggerated. It's either the worst film ever or it's the best film ever.
Yeah.
Ignore all that. Just going expecting a piece of art that you hope can, tell you something, or at least looks nice. A lot of my favourite films just look nice.
Yeah.
And they look beautiful, and I'm happy with that, and that's okay. Don't go in with any expectations. Give it your time of day. Put stuff away. Give it your full concentration, and I promise you'll be rewarded at the end.
That's really insightful. Absolutely, it doesn't have to be just a Bruce Willis masterclass where he flips around a few helicopters and stuff. It can actually be, a film that's meant to thought provoke and a bit,
Yeah. Then you've also got ones like your Bruce Willis masterclasses or Crank, like that was shown recently at Film Friday, that I absolutely love.
Yeah.
You don't always have to go in expecting to get a thought-provoking meaning to it. Sometimes you can just go in and it's a 2 hours of pure entertainment, and you finish it and you go, well, that was fun, that was great. Nice one.
Absolutely.
So I think the best thing to do is just always go in with an open mind.
Definitely. Absolutely. Now, we're going to have this segment, and it's going to be quizzing Billy. And we're going to quiz Billy. We're going to ask him 5 quiz questions, movie questions.
Oh, God.
And this guy thinks he knows everything about the movies. We will see.
No, I don't.
We will see.
Just to warn you, though, I do write my own pub quiz. So.
Oh. All right.
Just saying, I'm not cheating, but I'm a master in that area as well.
You're Albert Einstein in disguise. I see.
If he was into films, yeah. I don't know. Maybe he was.
Well, in that case, you'll know, won't you, which actor has won the most Oscars for acting?
I'm going to say... do you say actor or actress?
Just for acting in general.
Okay, a bit of a trick question. You're not giving me any hints on whether it's actor or actress.
He's been in the club quiz.
I'm going to say...
Meryl Streep.
Are you sure?
Yes.
It's actually Catherine Hepburn.
Ah.
4 Oscars.
I didn't know that. Wow. Fair enough.
I assume you're into James Bond films.
I've seen a few. I like them.
What is the title of the first James Bond film?
The first?
Yeah.
Is Dr. No.
Correct. You know what? You know something. What is... Who composed the score for Star Wars?
That would be John.
Brilliant, absolutely correct. What is the name of the alien race in Avatar?
The Navi.
Yeah, correct. You know your films. Which 2020 movie features a multiverse where the characters Evelyn Wing and Waymond Wang?
Everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yep.
Great film.
What year was Psycho released?
1960.
Yep. In Godfather, what is the name of Vito, Carlone's youngest son?
Youngest son,
Yep.
Michael.
He purposely answered the first question wrong. Who starred alongside Robert Redford and Butch Cassidy and the Sunshine Kid?
It was. I'm gonna get his name. Oh, this is annoying because it's a good film. Robert Redford and Cool and Luke. What's his name? Oh no, this is annoying me. Okay, just gotta go to my mind palace. This isn't good entertainment for an interview because I'm so quiet.
Yeah.
You carry on talking while I'm thinking.
He's downloading.
I'm just
the
downloading
information into his brain right now, and thinking, what? Who is the question? Answer. You are allowed to get a question wrong, Billy.
No, I'm not.
No, you're not.
I've already got one wrong. That was my one that I got wrong, the first one. It's never going to happen again. It is, I think it's Paul.
Yeah.
He
He just has Wikipedia. He's got one of those microchips. It's Paul.
What is his
That's exactly how I'd answer if I just searched up on the computer.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing right now. I'm actually just online.
I'll give you a half point if you...
Paul is it a W? Oh, I can't remember his name. Okay, whatever, pass.
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. Sorry, Mum.
I will give you this last question for you. Question, on my pad here. What is the name of the villain in The Incredibles?
Syndrome.
Yep.
Thank you.
What Marvel film grossed over $2 billion worldwide in 2018?
Avengers Endgame? Or is it Infinity War?
Infinity War. Well, that ends the quiz. You've got a good man. You should be very, very proud of yourself, Billy.
But it's not enough.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you, George. Thank you for having me.
Appreciate you coming on. It was fantastic, and it was great to hear your quiz answers and your very insightful answers in Lincoln College in general. Now, for the final little bit, I wanted to, ask if you could give 1 minute or less or more, however you feel. Don't worry, not as much pressure as Trump today on the inauguration stage, but just a few seconds to tell that student there, Billy the camera, why he or she, anyone from any walk of life wants to come and be at this college.
Hello. I think that Lincoln College is such a great community of people. I think that the tutors, we really try and, just create such a friendly environment, and especially on our course, I can't speak for all of them. I don't quite know how they all work, but in our media course, we pride ourselves in the fact that we are preparing our students for the real world. It's a big leap from secondary school, that system of working where you kind of you're constantly monitored 24/7 in a way, and you work to these kind of guidelines. You know, I feel like we're a good stepping stone away from that into a more independent, you know, way of working. And I think if you are looking to be more independent, if you're looking to, you know, really branch out and be creative, you know, we've had all sorts of people come and say what they want to make and what ideas they've got, things I've never seen done before, and it's, you know, amazing to see, and we just encourage it so much, and we will always be there as a sort of safety net, us and the tutors, to guide you on that way. So we don't just leave you, we don't just chuck you in at the deep end, but we let you have that independence, and we are there as a kind of guidance. And I just think that's a great way of learning and a great way of, you know, getting ready for the real world.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Billy. It means
George.
a lot coming on today, and appreciate everything, and hopefully you are convinced why this course is the right one for you. Creative media production, folks. Billy Moir. Moir. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Moir.
Thank you.
But that's not the first time.
No.